Hello and welcome. I'm Stephanie Nash, a civil engineer with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, here to tell you about our partnership opportunity for conceptual projects. Since our initial outreach began in 2013, the MWRD has solicited and evaluated stormwater project partnership opportunities through an annual application process to identify stormwater projects that address flooding issues throughout Cook County. Every year, the MWRD seeks to assist communities in flood mitigation by directly supporting their efforts through our stormwater programs. In this presentation, the MWRD's Conceptual Project Partnership will be highlighted and explained in detail, along with tips on how to apply. Today, we'll go over an overview of our stormwater programs, the 2023 Stormwater Call for Projects, how to apply for a conceptual project partnership, including tips and new components this year, a summary of previous year's stormwater program partnerships, eligibility and project prioritization, and example stormwater projects. MWRD's Stormwater Management Program offers partnership opportunities for the completion of stormwater projects. MWRD can provide assistance for 4 types of projects: green infrastructure, voluntary flood-prone property acquisition, conceptual, and shovel-ready stormwater partnership projects. Our partnerships fund projects in Cook County that address flooding and drainage concerns. These projects utilize a variety of traditional engineered solutions, such as localized detention, upsizing critical storm sewers and culverts, pumping stations, and establishing drainage ways alongside green infrastructure. Projects are prioritized on the frequency and severity of flooding, the number of structures benefited, and the needs of the community, among other criteria. With any stormwater project, the MWRD is able to partner only with public entities able to enter into an intergovernmental agreement, or IGA. Eligible public entities include municipalities, townships, county agencies, park districts, school districts, and other government organizations. We are currently accepting applications for projects that meet our program's criteria. Here is an overview of this year's call for projects. Please visit the web pages in red to learn more about each program's eligibility and partnership requirements. The Green Infrastructure Program is currently accepting pre-applications through the end of the year, December 31st, 2023. Full applications for the Green Infrastructure Program will be available to pre-applicants only in early 2024. The Voluntary Flood-Prone Property Acquisition Program is currently accepting applications due January 28, 2024. There is no pre-application associated with this program. The Stormwater Partnership Program for projects that are shovel-ready will be accepting applications later this fall. The conceptual project application is what we will be focusing on today. It is intended for communities that have stormwater problems affecting homes and businesses, but lack the resources to investigate potential solutions. Our application period for conceptual projects opened on October 2nd and will close on January 28th. We'll provide more detail on the application components and deadlines on following slides. Conceptual project partnerships with MWRD provide technical assistance towards projects that address flooding and drainage concerns. These projects can be submitted to MWRD for technical assistance in the form of preliminary engineering to investigate the problem and identify alternatives. Selected partners will collaborate with MWRD and a consultant to study the flooding problem and design a potential solution. The goal for selected projects is to develop up to 30% design plans on an alternative agreed upon by both the MWRD and partnering community. These projects can result in a variety of traditional engineered solutions like detention basins, sewer upsizing, and underground storage. If your community is interested in green infrastructure, we can study the feasibility of those solutions as well. While MWRD intends to provide the technical assistance needed on the project, the partnering community is expected to take ownership of the project with an active role in its final design and implementation. At the 30% design milestone, The MWRD and partners will discuss the outlook on next steps for implementing the project with the partner agency as the lead. If your community has already initiated engineering on a stormwater project, you should consider applying to our Stormwater Partnership Program for design and shovel-ready projects. The Stormwater Partnership Program application is intended for projects that are already in design beyond preliminary engineering or projects that are at a final engineering stage and are ready to be bid. MWRD offers funding assistance for these projects through reimbursement of construction costs. If that type of assistance sounds more relevant to your project, please visit our website at mwrd.org/stormwater-partnership-program to learn more. Now I'll go into more detail on the application process for conceptual projects intended for communities that are seeking technical assistance. For those that have not yet begun design on a solution, you'll want to go through our conceptual project application process. New this year, applying for a conceptual project consists of 3 steps, all of which will be required in order to be considered for the program. Step 1 will be to submit a pre-application meeting request form. The information you provide in your conceptual pre-application will give our staff an idea of your project's scope and help us provide feedback during Step 2, which is attending a pre-application meeting with MWRD staff. Our staff will review your pre-application and reach out to you to discuss your project. Step 3, the final step, will be to submit a full application following your meeting. The full application confirms the information provided in the pre-application and items discussed in the meeting. The full application also includes official sign-off from the public agency that is applying for assistance. As a reminder, all 3 steps are required for your project to be considered. The pre-application is different from last year, so I'll go into some detail about the process. All of our applications are hosted online this year. You can access this online web form at mwrd.org/form/conceptual-pre-application or find a link on the Conceptual Project webpage. The intent of the pre-application is to help determine if a project fits within the scope of a conceptual project partnership. It also helps us anticipate budgetary and scheduling needs based on the amount of applicants. It is intended to be less technical than the full application and simply provide MWRD with some baseline information on your project in order to facilitate a productive pre-application meeting. The pre-application form consists of mostly multiple choice questions with some optional text boxes for additional detail or clarification. At the end of the form, there is a section where you will input some dates and times that work for you to meet with us, and we'll reach out to you to schedule the meeting. You will also be sent a tracking number from the MWRD website so we can track your project. Hold on to this as you will need it later when you are filling out your full application. Pre-applications are due by December 8th, 2023. Meetings will be held until December 29th, and full applications will be due a few weeks after that. Please make sure you get your pre-application submitted by December 8th. We'll have an overview of the meeting and full application in later slides, but now we'll do a detailed walkthrough of filling out the online pre-application form. This is a step-by-step guide of how to fill out the online pre-application form for conceptual projects. Start by going to mwrd.org/form/conceptual-pre-application. Here's what the pre-application form will look like. There are a couple deadline reminders at the top, background on the program, and a list of steps in the application process this year. Please be sure to review the linked information for how to apply on our Conceptual Project webpage. The first set of questions asks you to identify the public entity that is applying for assistance and the best contact for us to reach out to about your application. The public entity is considered the applicant, not the person filling out the form. You will need to identify the contact person as either someone who is an employee of the public agency or an outside consultant. You have the option to add a second contact by checking this box. Next, you'll give us some information on your project and the flooding your community experiences in the area. Enter a name for the project and the project's location. This can either be a nearby street address or intersection. In order to understand the extent of the flooding, please upload a map if you have one. This can be a very simple exhibit, nothing fancy, just a screenshot of the area on Google Maps with an area drawn around where the flooding occurs would work fine. Or if you aren't able to provide a map, you can give us more insight about where the flooding occurs by describing the streets or blocks that make up the flooding area. You'll need to estimate this area in either acres or square feet, and this is a very rough estimate, not exact. Same with the depth of the flooding. Just estimate the highest that the water gets in the area in either inches or feet. And let us know the type of sewers that the area is serviced by if you can. Next, we'd like to hear from you about the impact of the flooding. These are open-ended questions for you to describe the impacts in your own words, including the type of flooding experienced, what you think causes it, and how often it occurs. We then ask you to give a ballpark estimate of the number of structures that are impacted by the flooding. The next section is about the level of assistance you are looking for. You can let us know why you are applying, the engineering staff that you have available, and your comfort level with the program's requirements. We would like to know about any past documentation or work done to address the flooding issue. You can let us know about any documentation that you have available and what your agency needs the most help with to address the flooding problem. Finally, we'd like to get a sense of what types of solutions your agency would be open to. These include green infrastructure, voluntary buyouts, stormwater storage, and acquiring any land that might be needed to implement infrastructure improvements. If you've worked with any other organizations on the issue or plan to, you can describe those partnerships in the next box. In the last box, if you could provide us with what you know about the history of maintenance in the area, that would be great. And remember, we will be meeting with you to discuss your responses. It is good if you can provide us with all that you can, but it's okay if you don't have detailed answers to all these questions just yet. We can talk through them together, and you can finalize a lot of this information in the full application. Having a good idea of the scope of the problem will just help us have a more productive meeting. Here is where you can enter 3 dates and times that work for you to meet with us. Once you submit the form, we will reach out to the contacts that you listed at the top of the form to set up a meeting. If you would like any other parties invited to the meeting, please request so by adding their information to this table, or you can leave it blank. If there's anything else you'd like to let us know before the meeting, please do so here. Then all that's left is the applicant's acknowledgement of the form, which should be filled out by an employee of the public agency that is applying for assistance. You'll have to prove you're not a robot, hit submit, and you're done. If you want to save your work at any point and come back later, or send to someone else to complete, hit the Save Draft button at the bottom of the form. This will generate a unique link for you to access the form again. Please make sure you copy-paste it somewhere to save it if you need it. If you have any questions or difficulties applying with the online form, please contact us at stormwater@mwrd.org. Remember, a pre-application is required for your project to be considered for our program, so please fill out the form as soon as you can and contact us if you need assistance. Once your pre-application has been submitted, MWRD will reach out to schedule a pre-application meeting. This will be an online Teams meeting where we will discuss your pre-application responses, provide feedback on your project, and answer any questions you have. This meeting should prepare applicants to submit the more detailed and technical full application. A portion of the pre-application meeting will be dedicated to mapping your project area on GIS. MWRD will work with you to define where the flooding happens and what area your project will focus on. Following the meeting, MWRD will send you a PDF of the exhibit. You will need to upload this exhibit in the full application form. Meetings will be held until December 29th, 2023, and the full applications will be due about a month later on January 28th, 2024. After your pre-application meeting, You should have all you need to fill out the full application. The full application contains more technical questions and requires more detailed responses. There is also a public agency sign-off at the end that must be completed by an employee of the public agency, not a consultant. The full application will require you to input the tracking number you receive from your pre-application submission. You will need to input it right at the top of the form. Later in the application, you will also need to upload the GIS exhibit that was sent from MWRD after your meeting. Full applications are due no later than January 28, 2024. Here, you can see some data on our stormwater management programs. Conceptual and shovel-ready projects fall within the Local Stormwater Partnership Program, previously known as the Phase 2 program, which has been highlighted in blue here on the chart. The map to the right shows our completed stormwater partnership projects in gray, and ongoing projects are shown in blue. Overall, this program has selected over 70 projects for a total of over 10,000 structures protected or removed from flooding. In a typical year, we receive around 10 to 20 applications for conceptual projects. Last year, 4 conceptual projects were selected for partnership assistance. I would like to emphasize that a major focus for our partnership programs is maximizing local stormwater storage throughout our service area. Additionally, we would also like to encourage more municipalities to consider our voluntary flood-prone property acquisition program, so if you have not applied before, please check out our website to learn more information. If you're interested in submitting a conceptual project for assistance, it is important to review our eligibility requirements and partnership guidelines. Eligibility requirements and submittal instructions are included on the website at mwrd.org/conceptual-projects. To summarize, here is a list of the eligibility requirements for conceptual projects. The project must be located within district corporate limits, which for the most part match Cook County's corporate limits. Please check using the map link in the application or on our website to confirm eligibility. The applicant must be a public entity able to enter into an intergovernmental agreement, or IGA, with the MWRD. Eligible public entities include municipalities, townships, and other local government organizations. Maintenance projects, or projects that are due to lack of maintenance, are not eligible for assistance. And projects that are currently under construction or completed are not eligible for assistance. In addition to eligibility requirements, you should consider our conceptual project partnership guidelines when applying. More information is available on our website, but we will provide a summary here. During the development of the conceptual project, partners are expected to take an active role in design decisions. This includes participating in periodic design status updates and providing any comments or feedback needed as design progresses. Partners are also expected to assist with land access or acquisition that may be needed, submission of any necessary permit applications, and public engagement of stakeholders within the community. Depending on the outlook of project implementation at the 30% design milestone, partners may enter into an intergovernmental agreement, or IGA, with the MWRD in order to complete the project. If an IGA is pursued, there are general cost share requirements that would apply. The partner should anticipate taking the lead on the project's final design and implementation and utilize its staff to manage the project and IGA partnership. No matter who leads the project through final implementation, partners are expected to own, operate, and maintain any improvement that may be developed from technical assistance provided by MWRD. The MWRD will evaluate applications using a number of criteria, but the most important factors include socioeconomic need of the community, propensity of nearby flooding, including frequency and severity, and the number of flood-prone structures impacted by the flooding. The MWRD may also consider whether the applicants are in compliance with all MWRD ordinances, including the Watershed Management Ordinance and the Inflow and Infiltration Control Program, when prioritizing projects for funding assistance. Finally, projects with more potential for stormwater storage are preferred over projects that are focused on conveyance. If you're interested in what our partnerships look like in action, Our website has links to informational videos on our YouTube channel. For an example of a successful stormwater partnership project, check out the Aspen Trails Park video on the Stormwater Partnership webpage. We also have videos of example projects available on the Green Infrastructure webpage and Flood-Prone Property Acquisition webpage. These videos walk you through the process from the partner's perspective and can give you an idea of what each program is like. Hear from partners directly about how they accomplished their stormwater projects in collaboration with MWRD and other organizations. To recap, here's what you need to know to apply for assistance on a conceptual project. Please review the program requirements at mwrd.org/conceptual-projects. Submit a pre-application form to request a meeting and receive a tracking number for your project. Attend a pre-application meeting with MWRD staff and receive a GIS exhibit of your project area. Finally, submit your full application with your tracking number, GIS exhibit, and public agency acknowledgement. Whether you have applied in the past or it is your first time, we encourage you to apply for a conceptual project partnership. Remember that all three of these steps are required for your project to be considered. Pre-applications are due on or before Friday, December 8th, 2023. Meetings to discuss pre-applications will be held until Friday, December 29th, 2023. Full applications are due on or before Sunday, January 28th, 2024. The applications and more assistance can be found on our website, mwrd.org/conceptual-projects. We will also be glad to answer any questions you might have. Please email stormwater@mwrd.org. Thank you for your attention, and we are excited to see the projects that are submitted.